Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. Do black businesses deserve our support? I've been looking forward to getting into this topic. But before we do, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Now, I want to dive into this topic, black businesses, because it's been on my mind for years, okay? Um, how bad they are. And apparently, I'm not the only one. There's a whole lot of people that express the same displeasure in black businesses. So do they deserve our support? Well, what I want to do is I want to break down three videos. Or two videos. One by Jamil Hill, and I'm gonna let her do most of the talking, okay? Because she's an excellent reporter, and so she's going to break it down a lot clearer than I. And then I want to break down Isaiah Carey. Now he is out of Houston, and he has a show called the Isaiah Factor, and he's going to actually interview several, or a couple at least, well, several black business owners. And boy, wait till you hear what they have to say. So, this all started, of course, with Keith Lee's visit to Atlanta. Now, as I said, I'm going to let Jamel do most of the talking because she does a better job than I do. But as a reviewer, goes around the different, excuse me, goes around the different restaurants and review their businesses, their food. And in a recent trip to Atlanta, he caught the attention of a couple of the businesses there, which he did not give a good review. So let's let Jamil do, like I say, she's going to break this down. And I want to react to what she says, by the way, because I've been wanting to talk about black businesses forever. And so I'll piggyback on her segment here. Now, let me also say this. This is her YouTube channel, so she uses some very strong language. I just want to forewarn you of that. But the reporting is excellent. Here we go.
As a Detroiter, I know that when people who are not from Detroit jump in Detroit business, I feel away. So I'm going to tread lightly with this week's topic because I'm inserting myself in another city's business. Now, last week, social media influencer Keith Lee set the city of Atlanta on fire. For those unfamiliar, Keith Lee is a well-known social media food critic who has millions of TikTok and Instagram followers. A glowing review from him has changed the courses of small businesses literally overnight. Now, in Atlanta,
Um, that'd be almost 14 million followers to be exact. So he has a huge platform. So that's why his reviews carry weight.
Keith basically exposed a classist restaurant subculture that seems anti-customer and in some cases very anti-black. Some people were so upset about what Keith shed light on that they not only threatened some of the restaurants he visited, but they had the nerve to threaten Keith and his family over some fucking food critiques. And as of the recording of this podcast, Keith is shutting down his food tour.
You can disagree with me. You cannot like what I say. Completely understand. I'm okay with that. But when my safety and my family's safety start coming into play, that's where I draw the line at. But what can't happen is when my family or the restaurants or anybody's safety start coming into play. It's absolutely overboard. Especially when I was asked to give my opinion. Because you telling me my opinion only matter if it's positive. Because if it's positive, you got my face plastered on the wall and you saying Keith Lee been here. But if it's negative, I need to sit down somewhere and you don't know who I am. That's crazy to me.
So I'm fucking bothered for a lot.
Okay, so I'm kind of saddened that he's shutting down his YouTube reviews. I think he should continue because I think with a platform like his, hopefully the issue of bad black businesses will continue to come to light. Bad black businesses has been a problem forever. The difference in what they're talking about here is this kind of subculture in Atlanta among certain, I guess, so-called elite restaurants. But the issue of black businesses goes way beyond just this subculture in Atlanta, but just black businesses in general. I mean pretty much across the board, that black businesses are horrible. Not all, for sure, but too many, sadly, that you cannot trust their business. And to the point that I would rather pay more to go to a white business than to a black business. All right, let's continue.
So I'm fucking bothered for a lot of reasons. Threatening anybody's physical safety over a critique is just asinine and weak. But let me recap for you how all this shit started. Keith and his family spent a weekend in Atlanta reviewing food spots that were either suggested to him or he was invited to. One restaurant that invited him to visit is called Old Lady Gang, which is owned by Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss and her husband Todd. And this was Keith's review.
Yesterday, me and my family were at the One Music Festival. Somebody who works with Kandi Burruss walked up to us and said they've been trying to reach us since we got to Atlanta. He said he'd been constantly emailing me and constantly DMing me for me to come to Old Lady Gang. I got it, let's try it, and rated 1 through 10. As you can see, I don't have any bags in my hands. Me and my family showed up and we attempted to order before we got here. We called the number they had connected on Yelp 3 times, no answer. We tried to order through DoorDash and it said it was temporarily closed. So when we pulled up, I sent my family in to order for us. They said on the weekends, due to being busy, they don't do any takeout at all.
They do to-go orders?
No, we don't do to-go on the weekend.
Oh, okay, so it's sit-in dining.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. We appreciate you.
Now, she's going to comment on this because this is, again, one of these kind of crazy things that goes on with black businesses that is rampant. Not just in this kind of elite club, or as they may be calling themselves, elite, but just businesses, period. Now, I live in the Chicago area, and I can tell you a lot of food places on the weekend, they don't take calls. The wait times is extremely long. And I'm just of the thing is I just won't deal with them. But a lot of people do. And I think that's kind of the problem there, is because a lot of black people do just deal with them and they just put up with it. They put up with the bad business, the bad attitude, the bad service. I don't, but a lot of people do. So that's why I think with a platform such as Keith Lee, it brings to light this whole issue. Just how, again, let me ask the question, do black business deserve our support?
Which is completely understandable. So what we decided to do is my family's gonna go eat. They're just gonna come bring the food out while I'm sitting in the car, so they have no idea I'm here. My family asked how long the wait was to be seated. They said an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half.
Okay.
She also said they didn't have any reservations available. So they didn't take down any number, any contact information, nothing.
Now, considering that you couldn't call ahead to order, they didn't take reservations, there was an hour and a half wait, and they never took any of their information. I mean, what kind of review would you expect? And on top of that, things switched up real fast when Keith himself got involved.
My family then came and relayed that message to me, and I decided to go in myself. We walked in and we were greeted by a nice young lady. And then I met some amazing people who were eating there, and we took some pictures. God is amazing. As soon as me and my wife were done taking pictures, the lady said the table was ready. As always, I don't want any special treatment. I want to be treated like everybody else. I pay for my food like everybody else. I'm a normal person. I'm a normal customer. Things like this is exactly why I do reviews the way I do. Just because I have a certain amount of followers on social media don't make me different from nobody.
Considering all those circumstances, I personally think Keith was pretty gracious. Now, Kandi did respond with class and apologize, explaining that the restaurant doesn't take orders on the weekends because they're too busy and don't want to overwhelm their workers. But she didn't really.
So right there is kind of a problem to me. That Kandi is while she apologized, she doesn't want to overwhelm the workers. I would think you would want to strive to provide better service. See, that's what's missing in this apology. That you're not striving to provide better service. All right.
He addressed how that hour and a half wait time went to 5 minutes because he walked in. Nevertheless, from a PR standpoint, Old Lady Gang didn't handle it too badly. As for the restaurant, The Real Milk and Honey in College Park, they clearly weren't advised correctly on how to handle a crisis.
Before we came, we attempted to call our order in. We were greeted with an automatic message that said they do not take call-in orders. The automatic message said the only way you can do pickup is through DoorDash. We went through DoorDash, they was closed. But online, it said they closed at 5 o'clock. We went on DoorDash at 4 o'clock. But we were already here, so we just went inside. I sat in the car and my family went in and they told them they were closed early for deep cleaning. Yet the door's wide open and it's people still going in and grabbing their orders. Now we have no idea if those people ordered beforehand or what the case is. Also, the people who relayed this message, my family said were really nice. It's just the rules. And so far being in Atlanta, I found some places do have unique rules, and this is one of them. I want to be very clear, we're not blaming one person or saying one person was rude. In plain terms, don't call this restaurant trying to get nobody fired. Ain't nobody do nothing. This is just the rules they had. If you don't like their rules not for you. And for me and my family, the rules just wasn't for us. We just not their target audience. For the record, after
Now, I would agree. That's why personally, I won't support businesses like that. But it gets worse. But I won't support businesses like that. I won't support some businesses if they're rude, if their services are bad. If I go into a restaurant and they said, you know what, the hour you have to wait an hour and a half for your food. That's a problem. Okay, that is a problem for me. So yeah, while I support black businesses, you do you.
words, I did walk in and they did recognize me and they attended the services, but I respectfully declined.
Again, these are the facts. No call-in orders. DoorDash was a no-go. Closed early for deep cleaning. Basically, it was a busted trip. You'd think the owners of the Real Milk and Honey would have been a little bit embarrassed or at the very least contrite. Well, you would be guessing wrong.
Now, watch this response because it shows the arrogance of the owners and why I'm going to ask the question again. Do black businesses deserve our support?
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the Real Milk and Honey?
And who is this Keith Lee?
Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee?
Yeah.
No.
And if you thought
So rather than address the bad services, the bad reports, the bad reviews, they mock it. Now, he has every right to do that. But again, part of the problem is when people continually patronizing these businesses and subjecting themselves to the bad behavior. As I said, I don't have to because they're not that valuable for me to put up with that kind of abuse.
that was bad, one of the employees at the Real Milk and Honey went on TikTok and said, quote, "Y'all let an autistic man tell you where to eat." Keith Lee is a good Christian because, boy, I would have spent the next 6 months frying that place. But by all accounts, Keith is a good brother who in all of his videos goes out of his way to give these businesses a break, even though some of them clearly don't deserve one. He makes sure to also instruct his followers not to call these places and try to get folks fired or to take his experience as gospel. Let me be clear, all of his experiences weren't bad in Atlanta, but after his experiences went viral, it touched off wide-ranging conversations and debates about black businesses, black customers, what our expectations are of each other, and this trend where black restaurants in Atlanta, though I think some of this happens in other major cities like DC and Houston and Miami, but how these places basically brought club culture to the restaurant industry.
Now, so again, there's two things going on. One is what she is considering the club culture in Atlanta. So these particular restaurants, that's what they're highlighting. I'm saying that the attitudes, the service or poor service is wider. It is more. There are too many black businesses that they may not be elite, but they still provide poor service. All right.
Here's what some of the folks from Atlanta had to say about Keith Lee's experiences.
I'm so glad that Keith Lee is talking about these Atlanta restaurants because there is a reason why I don't go out to a lot of restaurants here. Story time. So this past week, I went to a restaurant for my friend's birthday. And this is the reason why I didn't act a damn fool. It was her birthday. So another friend in our friend group handled most of the issues because I just wasn't in the mood. From the time that we sat down and ordered our drinks, to the time that my drink actually arrived, it was 1 hour and 18 minutes. You heard me right.
Y'all already know Keith Lee is in that.
Now, you know what? And I'm going to say this, that the restaurants that they are highlighting are not storefront restaurants. These are sit down, eat out. You could say probably should be more refined establishment and listen to the reviews. And I'm wondering if the owners are taking this to heart. No, they're not. Here we go.
Atlanta, and let's talk about it because I have several reasons I think the food industry in Atlanta is such ass, complete and total trash. You know, Keith Lee, he's a man of God. He not gonna tell y'all and drag y'all like y'all need to be dragged. So let me tell you my thoughts. First of all, if I go to brunch or lunch or dinner or any type of meal, why is there a full page of rules and regulations I gotta follow before I can get something to eat? Keith Lee said in one of his videos, you can't call ahead, you can't order ahead, nothing. Exactly. That is ridiculous. A lot of these Atlanta restaurants want to be exclusive so bad, but when you go in there, you can see that it's just for aesthetics. The food is not good, the drinks are not good, it's just an aesthetic, it's an Instagram restaurant. You go there and you take pictures. That is what these restaurants have put high on their priority list. They have not put food or customer service or any other experience high on that list.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but I can't eat vibes. I can't eat clicks. A couple months ago, I reposted comments from a black woman who was critical of black-owned clubs, lounges, and restaurants operating in Houston because she believes a lot of these establishments are financially draining black customers.
Now I'm gonna get to Houston when I get to Isaiah Carey's segment because he's from Houston. But listen to what this lady says here about again and these are higher end businesses. Okay, these are higher end businesses. In other words, they should be doing a lot better.
To see black people doing good in Houston, but I think now it's to the point, it's like we're burning our people out financially with a certain lifestyle.
Oh, that's a good topic.
And I'm not catering. I don't like that. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with getting money, but it's our people. From what I can tell, you go out to our clubs. Like I can go to an expensive 5-star restaurant. They not gonna charge me 20% gratuity on me and my husband or me and my homegirl. I'm not gonna pay. The valet is usually free when you pull up, as long as you're going to the restaurant. You know what I mean? Even if you go to a hookah lounge, if you go to a classy hookah lounge, you're gonna pay 25 to 30. So there's nothing wrong with black businesses getting money, but I think they're draining us of the money.
So now we're back to an age-old argument that is steeped in some very familiar stereotypes, that black businesses lag behind in customer services and professionalism, and these establishments have a strong tendency to overcharge and implement strict policies because they serve a black customer base. And black customers are supposedly rude, don't tip, y'all know the rest. Let me be transparent here. I've never had a bad restaurant or club experience in Atlanta, but that's because I'm usually rolling with people who typically have enough clout to avoid those issues that the average person sometimes encounters on the Atlanta scene. I'm also not outside like some of y'all are in Atlanta. I'm too old for some of these places. They're loud. I can't hookah and chicken at the same time. I'm lazy, and unless I'm truly motivated, if you got a specific dress code, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm not your audience, and I'm totally fine with that. But from where I sit, I see a lot of room for blame and understanding on both sides. One of the reasons black businesses struggle to scale.
Okay, I'm gonna address what she's said because I think this is where I want to disagree with some of the stuff that she's saying right here. But notice she says professionalism, the lack of professionalism that black businesses do, and I can tell you, it is unbelievable the sheer numbers of black businesses who do not care about professionalism. They just don't care. Let's look at this final clip from Jamil.
Black businesses struggle to scale and maintain quality service is because they disproportionately face obstacles that non-black businesses do not. Only 1% of black business owners obtain loans in their founding year, compared to 7% of white business owners. Black and brown business owners also are 3 times more likely to be denied a loan, and if they do receive one, they are likely to receive a lower loan amount than white business owners. And not only do we not have access to the same capital, if a black business is in an underserved area, a black business owner will be forced to pay more overhead for security and insurance. And unfortunately, that black tax is often passed down to the paying customers. Too many of us have had experiences with black-owned businesses where we aren't treated with dignity or respect. And
Now I'm going to stop right here before she goes on, because here's why I kind of disagree with what she's saying. I think one has nothing to do with the other. For sure, what she's saying is correct. When, just in general, what black people have to face, let's say as opposed to the average white person. Okay, and this is across the board in the black experience. So I agree with that. You have to deal with someone sitting behind who is signing your loan. They may say yay, nay, or take or add more or whatever. Okay, I get that. But what does that have to do? Excuse me. What does that have to do with black businesses providing? Oh, excuse me. What does that have to do with black businesses providing good service? I mean, even if you can't get a loan to have a 5-star hotel, and let's say you're in a storefront in the hood, why can't you still provide good service in the hood? So that's why I disagree with Jamil in the sense that one has nothing to do with the other. I understand struggles. Now she's also going to talk about how black people respond. And I'm going to say again, one has nothing to do with the other. Okay, here we go.
Where we aren't treated with dignity or respect, and the professionalism is sorely lacking. Case in point are the rules at a lot of these bars, lounges, and restaurants that we know are only in place because they're serving a black customer base. Take a look at the house rules for the aforementioned Real Milk and Honey. 18% gratuity for priorities of 5 or more, or checks larger than $75. No reservations, no menu modifications. So if you have a food allergy, oh well.
I kind of want to go back to this. I want you to see something here. I kind of missed. Listen to number 6. It says no reservations unless you're Barack Obama. Hey, there's an exception to every rule. I just thought that was kind of funny.
No reservations, no menu modifications. So if you have a food allergy, oh well. No parties larger than 4 or more. 90-minute limit on a table and no waiting area inside. So your ass is just basically gonna be waiting in the car if you have to wait to get a table. While at white-owned establishments, you see some of these same policies, automatic gratuity for big parties, and in some cases any party. Also, a restaurant not taking reservations isn't unusual, but I'll be honest, rarely at these sort of white-owned spots or places where white folks frequent is there a time limit on a table. Rarely do I see an entrance fee just to get in the restaurant. Additional charges for condiments. If you want people to be committed to supporting black businesses, you can't be charging us 25 cents for air once we step into your spot. Now, I can already anticipate some of y'all typing in the comments, well, if you just broke, just say that. Your girl is hardly broke, but wherever I go, I want to feel good about spending my money. I want to feel like I'm doing something worthy. I don't want to feel like I'm being price gouged or that I'm living in some version of Jim Crow. But at the same time, let's also not absolve customers for bad behavior, because
Here's where I'm going to disagree again with Jamil, that she's getting ready to lay it on the customers. I'm going to let her speak, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to tell you why I'm disagreeing with what she's getting ready to say.
have certainly witnessed some of us behaving rudely and disrespectfully in black-owned businesses, knowing damn well we wouldn't dare show out like that in a white restaurant. Some of us don't want to pay for the exceptional service that we demand, or we think just because we're patronizing a black business that we're owed something. These are professionals who deserve to get paid for what they are worth. Bottom line, there's room for improvement by both customers and business owners. There's also some room for some grace. Somehow we have to get out of this habit of thinking the worst and expecting the worst from one another, and having that show up in how we do business with each other. As for Atlanta, it sounds like a lot of y'all restaurants need to course correct because you're rapidly losing the people who...
Okay, let me tell you why I disagree, what I'm disagreeing with. Okay, when you deal with the public is unstable. So again, they're not the problem. Their bad behavior doesn't justify, and I'm not saying Jamil is saying this, but their bad behavior doesn't justify the poor service from black people. And here's my thing is that if you have unruly customers, put them out. Deal with them that way. But one has nothing to do with the other. It doesn't certainly justify how horrible some black businesses are and how they think in their mind. Mostly because I think they focus more on making money than providing good service. And it's almost like they kind of like miss the basic 101 in business, that if you have happy customers are going to return and your businesses are going to grow. Now, the problem with black businesses, of course, is that black businesses, they kind of hold hostage the neighborhood. So people come and they stay in the neighborhood, and they unfortunately Uh, um, they unfortunately, I'm gonna come out of this because I'm kind of through with it, but they unfortunately, I don't know if they don't have any place else to go, or they're just kind of used to just being to subjecting themselves to bad business, bad treatment. As I said, I don't. I want to get into now the Isaiah factor, and the reason why I want to do this particular segment is because he actually interviews several um, black business owners. And I'm real interested in that because I do want to hear how do black owners respond to the Keith Lee or their customers' complaints. Here we go.
You're watching The Isaiah Factor, uncensored.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. Tonight, we're talking about a very complicated relationship between some black-owned businesses and their customers. Popular food critic Keith Lee's trip to Atlanta has highlighted the issues at some of the city's black-owned restaurants. He said he walked away empty-handed after visiting the Real Milk and Honey. According to Lee, he sent his family inside the restaurant for service. He says employees told his family they would be unable to serve them because they were closed for deep cleaning. However, Lee says employees changed their tune after he walked in and they recognized him, offering him a table to eat, which he declined. Lee's retelling of the experience has gone viral, leading to some people on social media sounding off about some black-owned businesses have an elitist problem, among other issues. Joining me now to talk about it, black-owned business patron. You black-owned? You're a black business patron. There you go. Bevan Biggers, the owner of Meek's Vegan Pizza, Demetrius Walker, owner of Swamp Chicken, Terry Mason, and KB, who owns multiple businesses. Glad to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. So, Terry, when you hear some black customers say, I am not treated with respect when I walk into a black-owned business, it's like, what do you want? And it's not proper protocol that they may give another race. Your thoughts on that?
Now I want you to listen to her answer. Now there's two individuals here that is interesting. Her answer is going to be one, and then the one on the end with the t-shirt. Now before she answers, let me just say this. When I was a teenager, I worked for a fast food chain. That was my first kind of job as a teenager. Okay, actually, my first job was working in the cotton fields, but okay, that's not customer service. All right, but I worked for Jack in the Box in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, and they're huge on the west side, huge. One of the things that the company taught us, excuse me, they taught us, it was a part of our employment, was customer service. They taught us that. They taught us that above everything else, the customer satisfaction was above all. Politeness, courtesy, professionalism, getting the food in and out on time. In other words, there was when a car drove into the parking lot or a customer walked in the door, there was a time limit on when they should have received their food and either left or sat down to eat. You were taught that. You were taught that even in the hood. I worked in black neighborhoods, and we were taught that. They had secret shoppers, okay, that would go around like Keith Lee, right? They were paid by the corporation to evaluate, to review. And if the store received a bad report, it came down from corporate, usually to that store manager. He got reamed out. So my point is this. What's lacking with black businesses is this. They're not training. They're not investing to train their employees. One thing is I think they're too focused on making money as opposed to a bigger picture of if they provide good business, they're going to make money. There's a great disconnect with that. Listen to her answer.
I can attest to that. However, being from Louisiana, our first goal is to treat everyone hospitable. That's our first, that's out the gate. And that's how we are and that's what we do. However,
So the fact that she says, however, right here you know some BS is coming. However, and this is going to be one of the reasons why black businesses give horrible service. Listen to what she says.
actually hiring help, it's hard to really know who you hire because you don't know. I mean, these people sometimes they are rude to customers. However, it's as a business owner, you want to provide the best service.
Okay, so what's missing from this here? We want to, but we can't. You don't have control over your employees. If you're hiring rude people and you're tolerating rude employees, that's on you. That is on you. You're not training them. You're not demanding them. And if they want a job at your restaurant, you should say you would act this way. This is what's missing here. There's this huge disconnect to me in reality that she said, well, we hope for the best. Instead of saying, no, we train. And I'm going to give you an example because they're going to mention this later. Go to a Chick-fil-A, even one that's, well, close to the hood. Go to an AT&T store. Go to an Apple store. There are plenty of black employees in these stores. Why do those employees act professional, courteous? Because it is demanded of them. This is what the disconnect here is.
All the time, you don't get the best servers to provide the best service.
KB, do you agree with that? Sometimes when you can't control your employees.
No, I agree.
Okay, now this goes from bad to worse. Listen.
I agree, but that's one of the reasons why in my business or the businesses I got, I'm self-employed. I do it all by myself. I can control customer service and all that from top to bottom. If I cuss you out, guess who you got to turn to complain to the manager? Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like the problem.
And I echo that. That is the problem. Now, here's my thing. I would never go to her business if I could not. She is the epitome now. This is going from bad to worse. She's the epitome of why, again, businesses are horrible. Listen to what she just said right here. I curse her off. Huh. Okay.
Go ahead, Bevan.
I work in logistics, so what I do is I come in, I build your menu, help you with your bar, help you get set up. The problem is a lot of owners don't even know how to hire. They don't know how to properly vet people, and they don't know how to train them. So it's not really the server's fault. It's really the owner because you don't.
I agree 100%. In other words, bad behavior exists because it's tolerated, not addressed, no training. They don't even demand it from, in some of these businesses. Don't even demand it.
Don't know what you're doing. You know
So
how to
if
cook.
you get an employee in and you say, this is how you're going to treat the customers, like a Chick-fil-A, you're going to be respectful, you're going to always be proper with them, then there's a difference if the employee lays down the law of the land.
A lot of these.
And I'm surprised. Let's ask those two bad black businesses, why aren't you guys doing that? Why don't you guys demand this? Why isn't this a policy? See what he just said right here? That's the answer. So where's the disconnect with many black businesses?
These bars, they literally will open it and then they look for servers and bartenders a week, 2 weeks prior with no proper training. I've seen it a million times. They don't even try. They see the margins of how much money you can make from a bar or a restaurant, and they're like, oh, I want to open a bar because I'm going to be wealthy.
Throwing bodies at it.
Basically, I've seen it
Demetrius,
a million
let's hear
times.
from you as a business owner of Vegan Pizza. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really important. I make sure that my employees know that mood and food, there's a reason why those two words are so similar, because, you know, your mood is going to affect how you feel about the food. And so it's really, really critical that we give everybody an A+ experience when they walk through the door. I don't care if it's Beyonce or whether it's Ray Ray.
Right.
We need to make sure that everybody is satisfied with their experience, because the food is going to taste better when you feel better about your experience.
Can't satisfy every customer though. Sometimes
Absolutely.
they come in like these 2023 customers, okay?
Absolutely.
These not the 1999 customers. These people today are have a high level.
Gen X.
No, they have a.
Well, one has nothing to do with the other. Okay, I agree with her. You cannot satisfy every customer. But there is a polite way, a professional way of telling them to kick rocks. Sure. We were taught that. We were taught no matter how belligerent that the customers were, here's how you respond. And in the end of the day, you still may not say, okay, we still can't help you. See, again, the disconnect here of reality of how do we deal with the public versus what we should be providing is for, again, decent businesses, services.
A high level of sense of entitlement. So when you come, see, I run parking lots in the club area. So either way, whatever energy and attitude you giving, guess who giving it back? Baby, park that car, give me your money and get in the club. You come around that corner drunk, that is not my fault. I'm going to give you what you give. Now, for restaurants and stuff, I can completely understand. But if you come in with an attitude and I'm giving you everything I can from top to bottom, and you complain about everything, baby, customer ain't always right at the end of the day. I'm going to give you my best foot forward. We're going to put our best food forward. But if your attitude suck walking in this door, baby, kick rocks. Next time, just pick it up to go.
And that's why. That's why a lot of black businesses don't last, because they have that attitude.
Right.
And that's why people feel like they can come in there and act however. You act however, and it reflects on your customers.
Yes, it does.
I go to a lot of restaurants, so many restaurants, and there's a big difference in my experience, my black experience versus going to other restaurants. There's a big difference. Number one, black restaurants and bars, why do you cost so much? Why am I spending 3 times as much for one drink versus somewhere else and it's a better quality cocktail or dish? I'm getting the same meal at every black restaurant. You don't even switch it up. You don't even try. It's all the same stuff.
I live in I can beg to differ on that, because I've gone to Steak 48 and I've gone to other restaurants around the I think that sometimes our mental of we are going to expect more from a Caucasian or different restaurant versus a black restaurant, because we have people.
Oh, okay. Again, this lady is just why black businesses are wrong. Let me tell you where she's wrong at. First of all, how about we expect, we're not saying, or at least even if that's true, it's irrelevant. What does that have to do with you giving good business? In other words, I can tell you from my experience, I expect better business from white people because they give better business. And as we can see, with all the wide range of reports from black businesses, higher prices, mostly bad service though. I'm saying I expect good service. That's all. I expect good service. Personally, for me, I'm not going to argue over money, but good services. And she's constantly trying to make excuses why she gives bad services.
We're not fast food. None of our restaurants. We're not fast food.
Irrelevant.
They sit down. We have servers. We have a bar. They want fast service. But if they wait 30 minutes, they're angry. But if you wait in the parking lot at Whataburger for 30 minutes, and it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine as long as you're getting good service. And yes, a lot of people will wait. Black people wait all the time. As we have seen, that black people wait an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours for food. But if the service is good, if the food is good, people are going to walk away and say, hey, it's worth it. I won't stand 2 hours, but hey, a lot of people will. So again, to me, she's trying to give excuses as to why she's giving bad services.
All right, Demetrius, let's hear from you really quick.
Well, I just want to say, I think, we do have room for improvement. And I think, Keith Lee highlighted the fact that we do have plenty of room for improvement as black-owned businesses and black-owned restaurants. And, I think this puts the pressure on us. We have to do better, and our community deserves better.
Can I say one more thing?
Really quick.
This is my experience in the South. I used to work in hospitality in the East Coast, and it was not like that. This is a Southern problem.
Not just a black problem, a Southern problem?
Black Southern. I did not.
I'm kind of going to disagree unless she's talking specifically about that kind of culture of the kind of higher end sit-down restaurants. I think I have found wherever I go, I find the same kind of black service, whether it's a rib joint, whether it's and then we're not even going to get into other black businesses, contractors and things like that. We're just talking about eating joints here. But it's the same to me. I want to come out of this because I think that, I'm kind of done with that. One of the things, again, I think that the problem, the disconnect, as you saw, was some of the people are not getting it. Again, I was trained. You had to be trained that way. It's not just, hey, follow your dream. What is my dream? I want to open a restaurant. And then you focus on just making money. Because to me, that's what a lot of black businesses do. Focus on making money. Let me show you something in closing out. This picture here is a Culver's restaurant, and I know that they're around the Chicago area. I don't know if they're in any other area of the country. But in the Chicago area where I live at, you see these Culver's. They're great restaurant, great food. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this picture right here is because this is kind of the chain of Culver's restaurant. Now, from my house, I have two different Culver's. That's pretty much about a 4-mile distance. One horizontal, one vertical. In other words, if I just go one way, okay, about 4-mile Culver's. The difference is that if I go 4 miles to my west, I go to a white-owned Culver's. If I go 4 miles south from my home, it's a black-owned Culver's. The problem with the black-owned Culver's is that the service is, I'm going to say, well, I won't give it an F, but it is substandard. They get the orders wrong. The service, you drive up, you see staff, usually black staff, standing around idle, which leads to, again, getting the orders wrong. There's certain things they don't provide. Now, if I drive 4 miles to the west, to the white-owned Culver's, the service is superb. They've never gotten my orders wrong. I go there particularly because what my wife wants in terms of a spicy chicken tender. The blacks don't have one. Don't know why. But most of it's the service. And that's an example of what I'm talking about here. I could also highlight the same with Walmart stores. Go to a white area, the business is going to be better, cleaner. But in an all-black neighborhood, the Walmarts are inferior. So my point is that, again, when it comes to black-owned business, black-run business, there is a problem. And I'm frustrated because I do continually support black business. But do they deserve our support? Well, not all of them for sure. All right, guys, that's my perspective. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to VP The Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought, a comment, add it to the comment section below. Tell me what you think about your experience of black-owned business, black service. All right, guys, look, see you in the next video.